Hey y'all, Hubcap Dylan here. I'm in Caldwell, Idaho. I came into town to run a few errands and thought I'd stop by. This was kind of spur of the moment, but I thought I'd throw together a quick video. So this used to be an old Sears building. We used to come here when I was a kid. They closed down in the early 80s, and this was vacant for a number of years, and then they ended up putting a few businesses in here, and eventually Avalon Antiques came in. And here's the entrance inside the main lobby. So let's go inside and see what all they have. We'll start off at this case with all the tins. Got some old medicine bottles. This is a cool little cast iron truck. And this mobile oil can radio was likely a promotional piece. And I really like the mobile oil and hydrotone cans with Pegasus on it. And there's another promotional can radio with the Gulf logo on it. And it never fails that you will spot one of these Looney Tunes Pepsi glasses from the 70s. And here's a Coleman lantern for $125. I'm not sure if this is a souvenir or if it's a salesman sample, but this looks to be a little miniature Dutch oven. If anyone knows, please plop it down in the comments. My dad has one of these vintage flexible funnels. They're pretty handy. May have to see if it's still there when I go back in. We'll take a look at this cabinet. We'll look at the copperware here, and looks like a platter there. Some pots. That's kind of a cool piece there, that little barrel. And then there's candlestick holders. And then we have some uranium glass. A lot of this is federal glass, but there is some uranium in there. First I thought it was all uranium, and I thought I'd hit the mother lode. And there's Betty Boop. That's kind of cool if you're into that. I'm asking $45 for that. Here's a split window Corvette VHS rewinder for $25. That's pretty cool. And I do like this old jar for $45. That's pretty neat. I got her one. We'll go through these old albums right here and see if there's anything cool that's like car related. Got a cool hot rod on the front. That's kind of what I'm looking for. There's Neil Diamond and Neil Diamond, Bonnie Millsap, Neil Diamond. Lots of Neil Diamond. More Neil Diamond. Osmonds. Charlie Daniels. Olivia. I had a crush on her after I'd seen Grease. Paul Revere narrators. Fun fact, another Paul Revere. Fun fact, Mark Lindsay, who was originally the lead singer for Paul Revere narrators, grew up right here in the Caldwell area. Here's some Fenton cranberry glass. That's pretty cool. I did kind of like the look of the Fenton glass. And this is a cool set of character wall hangers from 1958, made by Napco. When I was a kid, I used to check out these old Peanuts books out of the school library. Brings back memories. That tells you how old I am. My mom has an old vintage family portrait like this of her grandpa's family, and there's an old cabin. It's pretty neat. That's a cool little Coca-Cola sign. It's not vintage, but it's pretty cool. I do like this vintage Woody Woodpecker cookie jar from 1967. $120 it's marked down to. Says it's rare. And what kind of a video would this be if we didn't take a look at all these old license plates? I do like the Hawaii from 1948. Most of these here are Idaho. There is a couple of Utahs. Some of these have been repainted and some of them has the patina. There's a farm truck from 1945. And here's one from 1922. 1968. Those are rare plate. Well, not a rare plate. That was one of the last years they stopped putting the years on the plates before they went to the stickers. I think they had a few throughout the 70s or the early 70s that had. I know 74. They had the year stamped on the plate. 1945 Montana. I do like the shape of that one. 61 Idaho. And I have the 26. I showed the 26 license plates that I got over in Oregon a few months back. 1956. There's some trailer license plates. There's another Montana. Here's some vintage Tupperware canisters. I think my mom has a few of those, but they're like not quite an avocado. And I kind of remember those camel jukeboxes. The cool helmet. And of course, you can get your Hot Wheels fix. And more Hot Wheels. Well, what do you say? Shall we continue browsing? Well, it wasn't in my plans to go to the antique store today, but I was out running errands and decided I'd stop by and shoot a little video. And I got a few things here that I thought I'd show you. I did pick up the 1937 Idaho license plate. It is pretty rusty, but for the price, it was a good find, and it was from the 30s. So it's about 89 years old. And then I got these patches for my jackets and my vest. Got three snap-ons. This snap-on was more of a newer one from the looks of it. And then here's a smaller snap-on. And then this one looks to have been on a dealer's jacket or uniform or something. Because you could tell it's more worn. And then I got some racing patches. Now this one here is a NCRS judge. I didn't know it at first, but NCRS stands for National Corvette Restorers Society. In fact, I have an emblem similar to the one on this patch, only mine has a V under the cross flags. And here is Firebird Raceway. That is where I went to the swap meet back in the fall. Their spring swap meet will be in April, so I'm hoping to go and get some footage from that one. This should be a bigger meet, so I'm looking forward to that. And then Iski Cams, Racing Cams. In fact, the gentleman who started his ski racing, Kim's, just passed away recently. I think he was like 104. But anyway, there you have it. That's my haul for this trip. Well, I want to thank y'all for watching the video and checking out Avalon Antiques with me. And please give this video a thumbs up and plop a comment down below. And please subscribe to the channel. I'd be happy to have you as a subscriber. And please smack that bell for notifications. There will be more content on the way. And y'all take care. That's Jeff Dillon signing off.